Morning everybody. What I'm going to do today is just show you a little video on how to actually create a glittered background to your cards using the negative parts of your die cut. Now this is what I'm on about. Okay, so we've used the negative parts of this little section here, and this is the negative part of the die, and what this is actually going to do is create that beautiful background. Okay, as you can see it just there. A stunning little background using the negative parts there, and it's got glitter in between those negative areas. Now this is something that I got asked about the other day on Facebook by a couple of people because Jodie had it on her sample boards. So let's make a start. So what I've actually got is my Floral Blooms die. So this is one of the panel dies that Tonic do, and this one here is our Floral Blooms. Okay, absolutely gorgeous, and as you can see it's actually got a beautiful verso edge. Now all of these verso edge, these all change from one to the other, but I'm using the floral because I just think that this is probably my favourite die just there. So I've just noticed I've got a few bits of die cuts just left in from where I was doing this previously, so just give it a little tap on your desk just to get rid of those rather than prodding them out. They are very robust, but when you do tap them out, just bear in mind that you do need to tap on the smooth side, not on the raised side of there. Okay, now the other things that I've got on here, I've got a little bit of brown cardstock, so this is going to create my leftover for my card. So I've got the positive and then the negative, and I've also got some double-sided adhesive. Now these are adhesive sheets, they are sticky on one side, they've got a little bit of adhesive just on there. If I just take that a little bit out there, they're adhesive on that side, they're also adhesive on that side, but they've got that skin on both sides. Okay, so let's make a start on this, and the first thing that I'm going to do is just grab some low tack tape. So low tack tape, I'm always asked which one that I actually use, and I actually use the Scotch Blue removable tape. It's the matte finish removable tape by Scotch. I always look for the blue one. That will go straight onto my card. Okay, just there. And the idea of this is we don't want to use the front panel, which we can do of course, because we've got your positive, but we actually want to keep all the little bits in our die. So what I'm going to do now is just run that through. Now depending on your machine, now we'll do it obviously because you haven't necessarily got the tangerine machine. What I'm going to do is just run that one through, put it through your die cutter. You may need to turn the die around. Now the reason why we say we may need to turn it around is due to the fact that it's obviously got to go cut on both sides. Sorry about that, I can't think and talk at the same time. It's got to cut on both sides of your die. Okay, and as you can see while that's sat on my plate there, if I just move this down just a little bit so you can see whereabouts we are, that little section just there goes right over towards the middle of my plate. Okay, what you actually don't want to do is just to cut it, presume that it's cut, and it actually hasn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around. We're going to run that one back through again. Okay, so let's just run that through. So again, just cut it twice. Smaller dies, you won't necessarily need to do this. You will know your die cutting machine. I know if I use my other die cutting machines, I would need to do this. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my plates over. So just tilt it from one side to the other, and then I can slide off, don't lift it, but slide off the plate and just take a look at the back of your die. Now I can see that that's all cut. I don't know if you can see that very clearly. Let's just try and zoom in just a tiny little bit. But what you're actually looking for on there are these little silver areas here. On your dark cardstock it will show silver. On your light cardstock it will show like a pencil line. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'll just place that just onto the top of my machine so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take my sticky sheet now. Now my sticky sheet I've already cut just very slightly smaller than my brown layer just there. Okay, so I've got the outside edges that I can see, and that will just help me to lift. Okay, so I'm going to take off one part of my sticky sheet just there, so just take off that top cover. Okay, so peel away that, and this is your adhesive. Okay, nice and tacky. We're going to lay that down. Okay, making sure that none of those pieces come out, so we don't want to lose any of those at the minute. If I lose a few while I'm just doing the demo, I'm not too worried. But obviously you can take a little bit more time at home. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press it all down. Not too hard, but just so I can see the back of that die cut. Okay, so can you see there, we've just got the imprint of the die cut just on there. Now that's safe now to take all this front panel off. So first thing we want to do, just lift it slightly, put your finger underneath your tape and just peel that off. You can see how perfectly that comes off there. Stick it onto your machine for next time. Do exactly the same on the other side. Stick that on your machine, and then your best friend is going to be your pokey tool. Okay, and what I would suggest doing is take it very, very slow. Let's just put that orange board back on there just to dull it down a little bit. I would be very, very slow and just take off your die. But before I take it and lift it, I'm just going to prod out those little bits from about the 1st inch of my die cut there, just to make a start on where I need it to be. So I'm not missing any of those little bits. That's about as much as I'd actually prod out to start off with. Now you obviously can go right across your sheet and carry on doing this, but you don't actually need to. But you can see there, where I've pressed it onto the cardstock, it's darker and it's lighter at the top. So let's just pull this out. And what I don't want to do is leave any of those little bits of card in my die. So if I lift it and you can see underneath that you've got some of that cardstock left in, just give it a prod before you finish lifting it. Okay, so just go around, take a little bit of time, but just for quickness sake, I'm just going to take it off. I just want the main parts of my flower in there really. I'm not all that bothered about the outside edges. There we go, let's just put that one back in. And we've got a few just up in this top corner. Okay, they're just left in the die. Give those a little bit of a press as well. And that one there, I'm quite happy with that. More or less all of it is stuck in. Now what we need to do is just give that a little bit of a press on the top. Okay, and you can see that is now stuck onto my sticky sheet. What I want to do now is peel off the positive part of my die. So what I'm going to do is just take my sticky sheet just there, just lift it and just peel it back. Okay, work from one corner and just work very, very slowly. You will start to see some of that adhesive start to come off, but we're not too worried about that. Okay, you can get your pokey tool and just work that away. But just for quickness, I'm just going to take that little area there. Let's just work that adhesive off of there. It's quite easy to come off, and just lift it off your card and you can see where we're actually going with this. Okay, so let's loosen along that top edge. Just going to run my poker tool just along there just to break off the adhesive where I don't want it. Okay, this is actually really strong adhesive, double-sided. I'm not sure where I got this one, I can't remember, but there are other ones out there that you can get which work just as well. Okay, so let me just snip that off there. And just get a grip back on that top corner. And again, it takes a little bit of time. Depends on your adhesive sheet, obviously. But all we're going to do is just take off this little area here. So you can see where I'm actually pulling this from is actually leaving the positive part of my die intact. And I'm leaving, let me just pull that off there. You can see exactly what I'm doing. But the positive part of my die is just there. Okay, so that little bit there, I'll just pop a little bit of card behind it. You can actually use that on your card as your background panels, exactly how you're supposed to. But what we've actually got left here, and again just give it a little bit of a press on to make sure no bits are flying away, are our negative areas. So our negative area is now stuck onto the adhesive. Again, you can just be very careful with how you peel yours off. I'm just doing mine for quickness. And then all we need to do is grab some Nouveau glitter. So I'm just using the purple organza. Okay, you can see just there. So that's our purple organza Nouveau glitter. There we are. Beautiful, beautiful colour. So that's the one that I'm actually using. And all I'm going to do, just finish this card off, is I'm just going to sprinkle it straight over the top of where I've got my die cut on there. Just going to give it a little press just to make sure it's stuck on there nice and securely. Obviously, if you don't like glitter on your fingers, you don't have to do that. It will stick anyway, but I just like to make doubly sure. Tap that off. We'll put that and decant it back into our tub just in a second. And you can see there, our glitter is now stuck onto our background. So depending on the effect that you want, you can either use one glitter colour, or you can take it and just place your coloured glitter in your flowers and use a diamond glitter on the outside. That will now go onto a card or something. And again, same as I say, just be careful how you peel off the background. If you don't want it to be less tacky around the outside, before you actually take your die and put your sticky tape on the top, you can actually just run an anti-static bag right around the outside edge, and that will stop it sticking. In the centre you do want it to stick, around the outside you don't. I hope that helps you. I'll be back again soon with another video for you. Alright, bye.